Hey all, I'm here today to talk to you about mindful reality and in particular, pressure, emotional pressure. So what I mean by emotional pressure is the feeling that there's something we should be doing, you should be doing, I should be doing. And in my work, I very much address the question, what is doing? And the answer for me is that it's not what we think doing is. We tend to perceive doing through our mind and through our thought process. And while that's all fine because we like to process thoughts and feelings and goals and intentions and all of that, in reality, so when I say reality, I actually mean physical reality. The room, the furniture, my body, your body. In terms of physical reality, as a whole body, which I'm going to say is my person, we are always in the space. We're always physically existing. And because we're always physically existing, and even though it may feel like we come and go, I'm doing this, now I'm doing nothing, I'm doing that, now I'm doing nothing, that's never true. Because we're always physically here, which means we're always doing something, or we're always in some kind of activity. Now, of course, our real life activity is perceived very differently to us than the way we think about doing things. This is the problem. Because real life activity is never going to compare to the fantasies, which we don't think of as fantasies. We think, oh, that's just me in my mind. I'm thinking about doing things. But in reality, in your physical reality, here you are just in the space doing things. It's slower, it's less glamorous, it's less eventful. And even when you're doing something you really want to be doing, it's sort of like over really quickly, right? So it's fleeting and you can't actually keep it or harness it. So the concept of doing is a feeling, and it's very different than real action. So this is what I compare in my work. The thought of doing something compared to real action. So for me, this is good news, not for everybody. Does things feel like this, but I get liberated by the awareness that there's sort of no such thing as the concept of doing, because our body is always busy in some other capacity. And the reason I say other is because we wouldn't be having a feeling of, I should be doing such and such, if we were already doing it, right? A should thought wraps around a judgment, a feeling of wanting something you're not doing. And so the truth is that you will never be able to cater to the interests of your mind in this way, because your body will always be busy in some other capacity. And yes, it's true that maybe if there's something you feel like you wish to be doing, that you will in the future, but you might and you might not. But I like to defer to real-time physical reality. And when I say defer, I mean defer to the fact that if my body is busy doing something, it can't be doing that thing I feel like I should be doing. And so I need to start paying attention to what is the thing I am doing. Only for the purpose of acknowledging that it's real and tangible and legitimate, and even if it's not what you wish your body were doing, it's the only thing that is ever going to be physically possible. Because our body is in a stream of movement from birth to death, right? It's just bones moving. Words coming out of a mouth, words coming out of fingers, and we're stuck with it. Because by the time you see what it is you're doing, it's over. And you can't retract it, and you couldn't actually get behind it because you could only find out about it after the fact. Now, I've written books on this. I've, done some YouTubes. I've written a blog for 9 years. This is no small thing I'm talking about. This is an enormous thing. But for the purpose of these videos, I just want to break it down to the moment, to that simple thought, that feeling that's always gnawing at us. I feel like I need to be doing such and such. And I just say, okay, so that's physically impossible. And that will always be the case because your body will always be busy in some other capacity. And it's a stream of ongoing movement that you can't interrupt. And you can't get behind. And you can't move out of the way. I can't, if this is not what I feel like I should be doing right now, it's over by the time I see it. So I can't move my body out of the way because it's always the next moment and I'm doing something then. So if you become interested in my work and you follow what I'm talking about, I'm really talking about what I call an automatic or involuntary stream of bodily movement, words coming out of your mouth, even thoughts in your mind, words coming out of your fingers. That is your life. It's your life activity. And ironically, I call it busyness. And I do this to please the ego because the ego is vying. I want to do, I want to do, I want to do. Busyness feels like, oh, I'm productive, I'm doing a lot. And that makes me feel better when I feel like I'm not doing anything, or I'm not doing the things I should be doing. So busyness is the answer to our life and our questions. And all it means is that whatever you see yourself doing, head included, because we tend to forget that the head's part of our body. This is my body, my head included, my face. And it just goes in a stream of activity. And that's the only thing that you will ever be able to be doing. So I will continue with that on our next video. Thanks for checking in. Thanks for tuning in.